Happy morning, dear students. Preventive pediatrics aim to provide early accessible, preventive and interventional health services to improve the health status of children in India by early identification of risk factors that affects their health through the implementation of clinical, educational and research programs. Here, preventive pediatrics is prevention of disease and promotion of physical, mental and social welfare of children with the aim of attaining a positive health. Hi, this is Chansi Rani. Today we are going to discuss about preventive pediatrics. Coming to the introduction, children are a large as well as vulnerable or risk group. About 50% of all deaths occur among children during first 5 years of life. Child health depends upon preventive care. Majority of health problems are preventable. The concept of preventive pediatrics. Today, mother and child are considered as one unit. So, specialists, obstetrics and child health have joined hand and are now looking beyond hospital into the community to meet the health needs of mother and children. In this process, they have linked themselves to preventive and social medicine, and as result of preventive pediatrics has come in popular. This is the concept of preventive pediatrics. Next, here what are the aspects of preventive pediatrics? We are going to discuss in detail in this topic. That is, first one is definition of preventive pediatrics, classification, MCH, that is maternal and child health, reproductive and child health, breastfeeding, BFHI, that is baby friendly hospital initiatives, weaning, ICDS, under 5 clinics, immunization, school health services, allied child, international and national organizations. These are the steps we are going to discuss in detail in preventive pediatrics. First, coming to the definition of preventive pediatrics. Preventive pediatrics has been defined as the prevention of disease and promotion of physical, mental and social well-being of children with the aim of attaining a positive health. This is definition of preventive pediatrics. Coming to the classification. Here the classification is divided into 3, that is antenatal, postnatal and social preventive pediatrics. Okay, 3 areas is there. Classification, that is antenatal preventive pediatrics, postnatal preventive pediatrics and social preventive pediatrics. We will discuss one by one. First one is antenatal preventive pediatrics. What we are going to deal in this antenatal preventive pediatrics, that is care of antenatal mother. Here we will provide adequate nutrition, that is first step, and second one is prevention of communicable diseases and preparation for delivery and then breastfeeding, mother craft trainings. These are the steps we are going to deal, provide proper care in the antenatal period. Okay, next one is postnatal preventive pediatrics. What are the care we are provide in the postnatal period is, that is promotion of breastfeeding, introduction of complementary feeding in appropriate age, next immunization, prevention of accidents, growth monitoring, periodic health checkups. These are the steps we are going to provide in postnatal period. And next, third one is social preventive pediatrics. What is social preventive pediatrics? It is defined as application of principles of social medicine to pediatrics to obtain a more complete understanding of the problems of children in order to prevent and treat disease and promote adequate growth. This is called as social preventive pediatrics. Next one is MCH. What is MCH here? Maternal and child health. Maternal and child health refers to the promotive, preventive, curative and rehabilitative health care for mother and children. What are the components of MCH? First one is maternal health, child health, family health, school health, handicapped children, adolescents, health care in different settings. These are the components of maternal and child health. We are going to treat the mother, child and family planning, school health, handicapped children, adolescents care, health care in the different settings. What are the objectives of maternal and child health? First one is reduction in the maternal, perinatal, infant and child morbidity and mortality. And next one is promotion of reproductive health. Next objective is promotion of physical and psychological development of child and adolescent with the family. These are the objectives of MCH. Next, coming to the reproductive child health, that is RCH. What is RCH? RCH program is formally launched by the Government of India in October 1997 as per the recommendations of International Conference on Population Development at Cairo in 1994. Definition of RCH. RCH is defined as people have the ability to reproduce and regulate their fertility. Women are able to go through pregnancy and childbirth safely. The outcome of pregnancy is successful in terms of maternal and infant survival and well-being, and couples are able to have sexual relation free of fear of pregnancy and of contracting diseases. This is about the definition of the RCH. Next, coming to the breastfeeding. What is breastfeeding? The definition of breastfeeding is feeding of an infant or young child with breast milk directly from female breast rather than the baby bottle or container. This is called as breastfeeding. According to WHO recommendations on breastfeeding means initiation of breastfeeding within 1 hour after birth. And next one is exclusive breastfeeding for first 6 months. Continuum breastfeeding up to first 2 years of or more. This is about the recommendation of WHO recommendations on breastfeeding. Next, benefits of breastfeeding. What are the benefits of breastfeeding for baby? Breastfeeding protects against infections and inflammations. That is, it may maintain the immune system. And next one is breastfeeding protects the bladder. Here, it protects and against urinary infections. And it may protect the tummy against serious infections and tummy bugs. And breastfeeding protects the lungs, less likely to be hospitalized with asthma than they are older. Next, breastfeeding protects the teeth, less likely to have tooth decay when they are older. Next, breastfeeding protects the ears. Ears protects babies from ear infections. And next one is breastfeeding protects against diabetes when they are older. This is healthy weight of the baby. These are the benefits of the breastfeeding for the baby. And benefits of breastfeeding for the mother. Here, what are the benefits is there for mother is it promotes bonding between the mother and the child, and it helps in involution process. What is involution? Here, after delivery, the uterus is replacing its normal pre-pregnant stage, that is called as involution. Here, the breastfeeding helps in involution process. And next one is breastfeeding helps to lower rates of breast and ovarian cancer. Here the less chances of breast and then ovarian cancers. And next one is reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases. These are the benefits of breastfeeding for the mother. Okay. Next one is benefits to the society. Breastfeeding, how it may benefits to the society means environment friendly, does not require packing, storage, transportation and refrigeration, and decrease the burden on society's healthcare system. These are the benefits of breastfeeding for the society. Look at this picture. Breastfeeding positions. What are the breastfeeding positions? Here it is there. That is cradle position, cross cradle position, and football hold position, light back position, and lastly side lying position. First we will discuss one by one. Cradle hold position or cradle position. What is cradle position? It is always every mother is using this cradle hold position only. It involves the mother on sitting upright position with your baby position on his sides. His head and neck is lying along your mother's forearm. Here the baby head and the neck is lying mother's forearm. That is called as cradle position. Okay. Here. And next one is cross cradle position. Look at that picture. Second one, cross cradle position. What is cross cradle position? The aim is to support the baby around his neck and then shoulder to allow him to tilt his head prior to the latching. Here, mother is keeping the baby head on left hand. At the same way, right hand is holding with the mother's nipple because to handle the latching. Baby easily accessible of latching of the breast. That is called as cross cradle position. And next one is football position. Football position means here how it is there. Football means like how the football is holding on the one side. That is called as football position. In this, placing the pillow on mother's lap and then keep one side. Which side the baby is taking the feeding, that side only that head is keeping. Okay, that is called as football holding position. And next one is light back position. Light back position means here it is the best position for the cesarean or C-section mothers. Whenever we are protecting the wound, that time this position is most useful for the mothers who are underwent the cesarean section. That is called as light back position. Okay, that is fourth one. Next, fifth one is side lying position. Side lying position means here it is an ideal for relaxing night feeds and breastfeeding in bed or on the sofa. Side lying can also be more comfortable than sitting position. Mostly it is used whenever mother is giving breast milk during nights. These are the breastfeeding positions. Okay, first one is cradle position, second one is cradle position, third one is football hold position, fourth one is light back position, fifth one is side lying position. Okay, this is about the breastfeeding positions. Next one is exclusive breastfeeding. What is exclusive breastfeeding? Means it is defined as an infant consumption of human milk with no supplementation of any type except for vitamins, minerals and medications. This is about the exclusive breastfeeding. Next we will discuss about breast milk components. What are the components is there in the breast milk? First one is water. Here the water is rich in the breast milk. That is 88.1% water is there in the breast milk. Fat composition is 3.8%. Protein composition in the breast milk is 0.9%. Lactose composition is 7% and other composition is 0.2% is there in the breast milk. This is about the composition of breast milk. Mostly the water composition is 88.1% is there. Next, coming to the baby friendly hospital initiatives. Okay, what is baby friendly hospital initiatives? What is the aim of BFHI? The main aim is to initiate global assessment and accreditation. Here the globally assessment it is there in the BFHI, and to enable the mother to acquire the skills needed for the breastfeeding. Here we are providing for acquiring of skills for breastfeeding. And next aim is to assist the mother who are not breastfeed. And finally, to implement baby friendly hospital initiative in the curriculum for the health workers. Who are the health workers here? Anganwadi workers, Asha workers, and then ANMs, auxiliary nurse midwives. This is the aims of the BFHI. Next, coming to 10 steps to successful breastfeeding. Here in the baby friendly hospital, mainly they discussed about 10 steps of successful breastfeeding. These 10 steps is very important in the baby friendly hospital initiative. First step is maintain a written breastfeeding policy to all healthcare staffs. And second one is train all healthcare staffs how to give breastfeeding. What is the position and what is the importance of breast milk? Everything the in the training process it is there. And third one is inform all the pregnant women about the benefits of breastfeeding. Fourth one is practice rooming in. What is rooming in? To keep the baby and then mother with rooming in. Along with the baby and then mother or caregivers. Keep aside. Okay, that is called as rooming in. And fifth one is encourage unrestricted breastfeedings. Okay, these are the 5 steps. And coming to the 6th step, give no pacifiers or artificial nipples. Here the what is pacifiers? Here the pacifiers means without breast milk they keep the nipple, that is an artificial nipples. Okay, here we will give some restrictions to avoid the pacifiers and or artificial nipples. That is the 6th point. 7th one is foster the establishment of breastfeeding support groups. Here the who are the support groups is there? Here the Anganwadi workers, Asha workers, and nurse midwives and auxiliary nurse midwives. Here we have to establishment of breastfeeding support groups. We will give some supports about how we will give some trainings, and we will provide proper techniques how to provide the proper breastfeeding everything. Okay, next 8th one is help the mother to initiate breastfeeding with 1 hour of birth. Immediate after delivery, we will educate the mother to initiation of breastfeeding within 1 hour after the delivery or after the childbirth. Next 9th one, mother how to breastfeed and how to maintain the lactation. Here to shows the mother. How to shows means how to give breast milk, how to sit, how to protect the baby, how to latching the breast or nipple, and everything to shows the mother before starting the breastfeeding. And finally 10th one, give infants no food or drink other than the breast milk. Okay, immediate after birth they won't give the colostrum, but here we will educate the mothers not to give other than the breast milk, that is honey or distilled water or artificial feeding. Okay, these are the 10 steps should follow for breastfeeding. Okay, these 10 steps we should know, we should learn in the baby friendly hospital initiatives. Next, coming to the weaning. What is weaning? Here the weaning definition of weaning is weaning or complementary feeding is the process of gradual and progressive transfer of the baby from breastfeeding to usual family diet, that is called as weaning. Weaning food are given along with the breastfeeding. When this weaning is started means mostly according to American Association of Pediatrics, they given when the weaning is started means it is started from 4 to 6 months after the age of the baby. Okay, here baby, when the baby is having 4 to 6 months, that time only the weaning is started. Here next, quality of complementary food. What is the quality of the complementary food? Is introduced gradually from liquid at the starting to semi solids and solids form. Okay, first whenever we are starting the weaning, that time first we will start with the liquids and then semi solids and then solid forms we will give. And next one is clean, fresh, hygienic is very very important whenever you are preparing the weaning foods. And it is the quality complementary food is easy to prepare. It should be, because for example potato, sweet potato preparation, it is very easy to prepare for the baby. They are easily to take that. And next one is easily to digestible. For example banana, it is easily to digestible. And high in energy. Okay, whenever we are giving any weaning food, it should be having high in energy. It is having high calories. Whenever we are giving, it should be there. And next one is well balanced. Okay, it is balanced with the all proteins, fats, carbohydrates, calories, and everything should be there in the diet. Okay, this is about the quality of complementary food. And coming to the ICDS. What is ICDS means? Integrated Child Development Services Scheme. Here it is started in the year 1975 by Government of India under the Ministry of Social and Women Welfare. Initiated for the welfare of the children and for the development of human resources. This is about the ICDS when it is started in the year 1975. Objectives of ICDS. The first objective is to improve the nutrition and health status of children in the age group that is 0 to 6 years. Second objective is to lay foundations for proper physical, psychological and social development of child. And third one is to reduce mortality, morbidity, malnutrition and school dropouts. Okay, next objective to achieve effective coordination of policy and implementation among various working departments. Here the coordination between the departments. Okay, and finally the last objective is to enhance the capability of mother to provide nutrition to the child. These are the objectives of ICDS. And next one is delivery of services. Is there, what are the delivery of services in the ICDS? First one is services are delivered by Anganwadi workers at ICDS centers. Who is providing delivery of services? Those are Anganwadi workers. And next one is how much the population is covered means, that is 1000 population for each Anganwadi worker. Anganwadi worker has to underwent 4 months training period. Next one is activities of every 20 to 25 Anganwadis are supervised by Mukhya Sevika and supervisor or supervised CDPOs. Here these are the delivery of services provided for the Anganwadis. In the ICDS, who is provided? Anganwadi workers. For each Anganwadi worker, how much the population is there? 1000 population. Minimum 4 months training they should underwent the trainings. Anganwadi workers. Okay, how many Anganwadi workers is supervised by the Mukhya Sevikas? Means 20 to 25 Anganwadi workers are supervised by the Mukhya Sevikas. Okay, next one is aims and objectives of ICDS. Here the aims and objectives is first one is care in illness, that is care in illness, second one is preventive care, third one is growth monitor. These are the steps, aims and objectives. First one is care in illness. Care in illness is mother's felt need, that is 70 to 80% of illnesses can be treated with the trained nurses only. Okay, because child is suffering some diseases, so 70 to 80% of illnesses can be treated with the trained nurses. And next one is diagnosis and treatment of acute illnesses, chronic illnesses and disorders of growth and development. And care in illness, what it is there finally, X-ray and laboratory services and referral services. These are the steps comes under the care in illnesses. Next one is preventive care. What is preventive care? We are provided in the ICDS programs. First one is preventive care, that is immunization, nutrition surveillance, subclinical nutrition, food supplementation. And next one is health checkups. Every 3 to 6 months the child health card is maintained. And next one is oral rehydration solution for the diarrhea babies. Okay, you should provide. And next one is the child gets 2 to 6 attacks in a year. Here, whether the child is suffering with the diarrhea, minimum 2 to 6 attacks in a year child is suffering with the diarrhea. And family planning, health education. These are the preventive care we are providing. First one is immunization, nutrition, health checkups, oral rehydration, family planning, health education. And third one, growth monitoring. Growth monitoring on growth chart also is called as road to health card. Here, whenever we are maintaining this growth chart means for an infant that is up to 1 year, every 1 month we should maintain the growth chart. If child is having 2 years, every second month we should maintain the growth charts. If child is having 5 years of age, every 3 months we will maintain the growth charts. The weight is plotted according to the age of the child. Okay, this is about the growth charts. What we should provide care. First one, what are the aims and objectives of ICDS is, first one is care in illness, second one is preventive care, third one is growth monitoring. Okay, that is about the ICDS. And next, coming to the immunization. Here the immunization, what is immunization? Everything you know. Here the immunization is the process of protecting an individual from a disease through the introduction of live or killed organisms in the individual systems or individual body. That is called as immunization. Here the immunization schedule. What is the immunization schedule we are given for the immunize the baby means, first one is age, that is at birth. What are the vaccines we are going to give means BCG, OPV, 0 doses and hepatitis 0 dose. And at 6 weeks, OPV first dose, DPT, hepatitis B second dose and Hib first dose we are going to give. And at 6 weeks, OPV second dose, DPT second dose, Hib second dose we should give. At 14th week, OPV third dose, DPT third dose, hepatitis B third dose, Hib third dose. At 9 months of age, measles. After completion of 9th month only we are supposed to give the measles. At 18 months, OPV fourth dose, DPT booster dose 1, hepatitis B, MMR. Booster doses are MMR, typhoid, OPV 5th dose, DPT booster doses 2 we are going to give. And second dose of MMR vaccine given at any time 8 weeks after the first dose. At the age of 10 years, HPV vaccine should be given for the girls. HPV means human papilloma virus we should give after 10 years of girl child only. This is about the immunization schedule. Next, coming to the school health services. Here the school health services are three is there: appraisal aspects, preventive aspects, curative aspects. These three aspects you should follow. First one is appraisal aspects. Second one is preventive aspects. Third one is curative aspect. First, appraisal aspect. What is appraisal aspect? Here, these are organized activities carried out to assess the physical, mental, emotional, and social status of school pupils. Here, appraisal aspects, we are maintaining the school pupils. The components of the appraisal is, first we will take the history of the student and observation. We have to observe the child condition, how their emotional status, how their mental status, how their cognitive status, everything you should observe. And next one is screening test. Here the screening test. What are the screening tests we are going to check for the school health? Means to check the vision, to check the auditory, to check the dentist, whatever it is there. Okay, these are the screening. Physical examination also is there. And next one is examination. Head to foot examination should be there. And next one is finally laboratory investigation. These are the components of appraisal. First one is history, observations, screening test, examination, laboratory investigations. And coming to the second, preventive aspects. Here the preventive aspects we should know about. First one is prevention and control of communicable diseases. Okay, you should give proper awareness to the school health children. That is prevention and control of communicable diseases. For example, how to prevent the scabies, how to control the communicable diseases, that is diarrhea and then measles. Okay, that is. And second one is early detection and controlling of non-communicable diseases. Here, early detection, we will identify the diseases of non-communicable diseases. For example, what it is there? Malaria and typhoid. Okay, here we will identify the early, whatever the child is suffering with the diseases. And third one is early identification and education of children with specific disabilities. Okay, these are, we should early identification is there for the children if any specific disabilities is there. Okay, and next one is emergency care and first aid services, preventive aspects is there. These are the preventive aspects we should know about in school health services. First one is prevention and control of communicable diseases. Second one is early detection and control of non-communicable diseases. Third one is early identification and education of school children with the special disabilities. And fourth one is emergency care and first aid services is there in the preventive aspects. Okay, coming to the third one, that is curative aspects. What are the curative aspects? Means school health programs provide curative services to the school pupils, and these services is provided in the school clinics provided by the general practitioners. A number of affiliated hospitals or services is involved in the curative aspects. This is about the school health services. Mainly the school health services are having three aspects. First one is appraisal aspects, second one is preventive aspect, third one is curative aspects. If Viva questions they are asking what are the school health services? First, appraisal services, that is appraisal services means here we should know about child condition by history, observation, screening test, examination, laboratory investigations. And preventive aspects means early detection. Okay, curative aspects means here after getting of any disease, who has to treat that one. Okay, that is about the curative aspects. Next, school health education. It is the part of health education that is given in the schools and by school health personnels. The method of school health education is formal health education, correlated or integrated health education, incidental health education. What here the types of health education, that is formal health education, correlated or integrated health education, and next one is incidental health education. You know about what is incidental health education, formal health education. Next one is healthy school environment. Here the healthy school environment is we should provide psychosocial and emotional environment, that is school schedules we should provide properly, timetables and everything, duration and timing of school day. Here the for example I will give you in summer the timings how they are provide half day schools only. So to minimize the stress of the children, they are providing timings, proper timings, school timings. Okay, that is about the duration and timing of the school day. And next point is amount and time of homework. Okay, how much? For example, if fourth class student is there, the minimum homework should be provided properly. Okay, and next one is amount and timing of homework. Next one is helpful emotional environment through the teacher pupil relationship or pupil teacher relationship. Okay, that is about the healthy school environment. And next one is physical environment, that is safe and sanitary school facilities, classroom ventilation, lighting, furniture, play facilities, garbage disposal. These are the healthy school environment steps. First one is physical, psychosocial, emotional environment and physical environment. Okay, these are the steps under the school health. All of you clear about what is preventive pediatrics? Thank you.